So in order for a garden to be successful, there are certain concepts that we want to master. And once you master these concepts, then your garden can be easy, fun, and super productive. So the concept that I want to talk about today is the easiest way to plant garlic. So I used to think that garlic had to be planted pointy side up and in perfect rows 4 inches apart. You know, it looked really nice, but it took a lot of time, especially when you're doing production work. So about 10 years ago, I was in a real hurry to get the garlic planted. I think there was a storm coming in or something. So I planted the garlic in this shortcut method, and I just hoped for the best. And the garlic turned out perfect, and we've been using the shortcut method ever since. So I want to show you the shortcut methods today. So here are the 6 steps that you need to be able to do this. And this is for fall planting your garlic. So you want to be sure that you get your garlic in the ground before your ground freezes up. Okay, so number 1 is select your location. And today I've selected, this is one of our outdoor grow beds. So we're going to use that for our garlic. Number 2 is to remove 4 inches of the soil that's on top. So we've dug this bed down about 3 or 4 inches, and we've taken that dirt and it's over here in the buckets. Okay? So the next thing we want to do is we want to take our garlic cloves and we want to break them apart into the little bitty, well, I guess we take the garlic head and break it down into the cloves. So we have all the individual cloves here. So we have a whole bucket full. Now, the next part is we just take this in handfuls and we just broadcast this on the bed. So we're not even worried about how they're landing, where they're landing, you know, how close they are to their neighbors, except you do want to spread it so that they are, you know, 3 or 4 inches apart. But we're not reaching down and rearranging. We're just putting the garlic out. So you want to get the whole bed covered in garlic. Alright, so we got our garlic is just broadcast on the bed. Doesn't matter if they're pointy side up or down or sideways, if they're in rows. None of that matters. They're in there. Now the next thing we want to do is to go ahead and put the soil back in the bed. So we have the soil in our buckets here, and we're just going to back on top of the garlic, and we want to cover it 3 to 4 inches deep because we want to protect the garlic from too much frost. And so we'll just put all of our soil back on here. Alright, so the garlic is planted deep. Now I have the 4 inches of soil. It's just loose soil up on top of the garlic. And next I want to mulch this. So I like to use hay or straw. This happens to be what we call swamp grass. And I will put this on a couple inches thick. And this is going to help protect the garlic and make it come up a little bit later in the spring because the soil won't get as warm as fast. But the garlic, it'll come right up through this stuff, and I'll leave this mulch on the whole time that the garlic is growing. And that usually stops all the weeds. So this is also a fairly weed-free method as well. Okay, we get the mulch on. It's fluffed up. It's about 4 to 6 inches thick, which is fine because it's going to mat down. The next thing I want to do is to go ahead and add, I like to add a little bit of this. This is a cement mesh wire, and that just kind of helps hold the straw in place through the winds and stuff, and the rains and the snows and everything that we're going to have. It also keeps the cats and the chickens from digging in the garden. So we put our, I call them cat guards, we put our cat guards on, and this bed is ready to head into the winter where it'll get a lot of moisture from the snows and rains and stuff like that. And then early in the spring, the garlic, it's just going to pop up. It's going to grow perfectly, and it will be ready to harvest mid to late summer. This works in raised beds, and you can also do this directly in the ground. So if you would like to learn other ways to make your garden easy and more successful, then go ahead and sign up for the High Performance Garden Show. So in the show, we follow a high performance garden from seed to putting it to bed at the end of the season. So this is the best insider's look at watching everything that we do with vegetable plants week after week, all season long. And we'll even show you a professional trellising system that you can use for your garden. So the show, it's free, it's online, and you can watch it anytime. So go ahead and go to our website, thelivingfarm.org/high-performance-garden-show, and you can sign up there, or you can click on the link below on this page. So please subscribe to our channel for more high-performance gardening information, and I want to thank you for watching, and may your garden be easy, fun, productive, and always organic.
If you want to learn how to grow $2,500 worth of organic produce with only a 15-minute-a-day commitment, sign up for the High Performance Garden Show. There are hundreds of episodes chock full of my best gardening secrets that I have learned over the last 3 decades. Go to thelivingfarm.org/high-performance-garden-show. It's free and online. Also, if you want to join the premier online community of people who grow food, medicine, and build resilient communities, join us today at thegrownetwork.com. Thanks so much for watching. May your garden be easy, fun, productive, and always organic.